with the crowd calling my name. It wasn't in the spotlight or the comfort of acclaim. It was down where doubt was louder than the faith I tried to fake. In the quiet of the breaking, that's the place my courage woke awake. I used to think that power meant I'd never bend or bow. But strength is born in valleys where you're honest out loud. It wasn't when the road was smooth or when the skies were blue. It was when I had nothing left but the will to make it through. This is where I found my strength, in the middle of the fall. Not when I was standing tall, but when I had to crawl. When the night refused to end and the answers never came. That's where I learned resilience. That's where I grew unashamed. This is where I found my strength. I've worn shame like a jacket that I thought I couldn't shed, and carried every failure like a headline in my head. But regret can be a teacher if you let it tell the truth. Every scar contains a lesson if you're brave enough to look. I stopped running from the mirror, stopped blaming all the pain, and somewhere in that surrender I broke my own chain.
It wasn't when the crowd believed or when the fear was gone. It was when I chose to stand again, though everything felt wrong.
This is where I found my strength, in the middle of the storm. Not in being unshaken, but in learning to transform. When the fire burned my pride and left the truth instead, that's where I found conviction. That's where I was remade. This is where I found my strength. I used to think I needed saving from the mess I had become, but the battle that I fought alone was teaching me to overcome. You don't grow by avoiding the places that you fear. You grow by facing every doubt and choosing to stay here. Strength is not a weapon, it's a steady, patient flame. It's getting up when you are tired and trying once again. This is where I found my strength.
Not in comfort, not in ease, but in fighting for my future. On my hands and on my knees.
When the world said I was finished and my hope was hanging thin, that's when I found resilience was alive beneath my skin. This is where I found my strength, in the valley, in the strain, in the breaking and the building, in the healing of the pain. Not because I never fell, but because I chose to rise. This is where I found my strength.
Right here in my hardest nights.
It wasn't where I wanted, but it was where I grew. And every step I almost quit was shaping something new.
So if you're standing in the valley, thinking you've reached the end, look closer at the ground you're on. this is where you find your strength.